just 11 years older than me. And maybe it's because he's now looking like he's looking older than Tinubu and Buhari combined. That's why he now feels that he's an old man, he's an ancient of days. Wike is a young man. I don't know where he got this idea that he's now an elder statesman for making noise all over the place.
Yes, there not be small cookie by strategic cook Wike. I say, if you see where Deji put Wike for pot, put water, put pepper, put salt, they cook Wike. I pity for Wike. I pity for Wike. In fact, this experience when Wike they get from hand of Deji, so I'm not say don't get chance since they play politics. Since Wike start politics, I'm just say that. In fact, I was forced to call Wike last night. We call confirm give me say the beating, the bruising. In fact, the knocking when Deji knock my yesterday. He said they even rush and go hospital. Say, but in the try get himself. You understand?
Adeyanju claims that Wike never told him that he would not support him, because what Wike said was, I told him, no, you are not going to get my support. But Adeyanju claimed that Wike never at any time, never told him at any time that I would not support him. I'm more likely to believe that he never frontally told him that I would not support him. Politicians will lead you on. Politicians will give you the impression that they are going to support you when push comes to shove. But they may actually have a different person in mind. So in this case, Wike may actually be saying the truth. And for the allegation made by Adeyanju that Wike has been seizing land and transferring to his friends, as journalists, we would want Adeyanju to back this allegation up with proof. If indeed Wike has been seizing land from the poor and the vulnerable and giving to his friends, then we need to know those friends of his who have benefited from this land grabbing, alleged land grabbing that Wike has been accused of doing. So who are these friends? Which land has he grabbed from vulnerable people and transferred the ownership to his friends? We really need to know. He also said that Wike has been stealing, that people ought to be in jail. They are not in jail, and Wike is a totalitarian and all that. I will not argue that Wike is totalitarian. I will not also argue that he doesn't back down from a fight. But the same Adeyanju said Wike does not back down from a fight has told Fubara that Fubara has to challenge him, and that when he's challenged, he gets frightened and he will begin to say things that he should not say because he's already in panic mode. That is contradictory. If you said somebody does not back down from a fight, then how come you are saying again that he gets frightened when he's challenged, and will start saying, oh, the person who gets frightened when challenged is not the same person who will not back down from a fight. So this is contradictory, and I really don't know the point that he's making in this regard. He has also told people that they should come to him. He is Wike's Oga, and that if they have issues with him, they should come to him. He will help them to fight Wike. You see, in all of this, I blame the FCT minister. Wike is an example of adìyẹ funfun tí ò mọ́ra ẹ̀ lágbà. If Wike does not know who he is in Nigeria, and he continues to use the media, to use the opportunity that he has to grant interviews, and uses the media to take on little boys, because If he truly has self-respect, he shouldn't be exchanging words with someone like Deji. Even Deji admitted that Wike is just about 8 years older than him. You cannot say 8 years is just. 8 years is a long time. 8 years is a long time. So you cannot say somebody who is 8 years older than you is only a little older than you. You cannot say that. That means he's an old man. Deji went on to say that Wike looks older than Tinubu and Buhari combined. That is absolute rubbish. He does not look older than Tinubu and Buhari combined. But I do not blame him. When the minister of FCT does not respect himself and he thinks that people who are junior to him are people that he should exchange words with, then something is wrong with him. And whatever insult is thrown in his direction, he actually asks for it. There is no reason for us to be seeing one of the most senior ministers in the federal cabinet and one of the most hardworking, because whichever way you look at it, Wike is one of the stars of this administration in terms of performance. You can't take it away from him that he's doing a good job in the FCT. I know that his enemies will not admit that, but that is human nature, especially we Africans. We do not give our enemy credit. So I won't be surprised if some people say he's one of the worst ministers in the administration. But it's possible for someone to say that, what has he done? But you can point out some of what he has done. Now, as a minister that has self-respect, taking on Ugo Chinyere, you have said that Ugo Chinyere was somebody that you helped to make him a prominent politician in Nigeria today. If I help to make you a big journalist in Nigeria, I will be diminishing myself to come on TV and be exchanging words with you. I will not do that with my juniors, especially on the public forum. But Wike does not think that anybody who abuses him does not deserve to be replied. There are people who abuse you that you don't have to respond to. Wike does not have the maturity to refuse to take on little boys when they are attacking. And politically, there are little boys. He himself has called them crabs. So if you are calling some people crabs, do they really deserve your attention if you know what you are doing? This is a big character flaw on the part of the FCT minister. And I have said this in the past. Even Fubara was not replying Wike until it became so consistent in attacking Fubara. People will remember some of the programs, some of the episodes of Journalist Anger where I warned against constantly attacking the Rivers State governor, that at some point the dam will break, it will snap and it will start abusing you. Now, somebody, a little boy attacks you, criticizes you, you go and take space in TV stations and you will start replying them. Why on earth will Wike be exchanging words with the Deji? Both in age and in terms of what they've achieved in Nigeria, they are not age mates. They are not mates. You move this lawyer who is always criticizing the judiciary, Odinkalu. The other day, Odinkalu, I don't even know how his name is pronounced.
Odinkalu, yeah.
Odinkalu. Wike also did, because Odinkalu's concern is that if Wike is left alone, he will corrupt the judiciary, and the judiciary will be giving judgments in his favor. What Odinkalu and Ugo Chinyere stand for is very clear. They do not support Odinkalu. Wike. And on the Rivers matter, we can see clearly that they are with the governor of Rivers State. So whatever they say, you expect that it is the Rivers governor's position that they will be pushing. If the judiciary decides the matter in favor of the 27 lawmakers, for example, definitely the table will turn in the Rivers crisis. They do not want that to happen. So as much as possible, they are pointing to Wike as somebody who is out to corrupt the judiciary, to give the judiciary gifts by way of houses and all that, so that judgments will always come his way. And that may not necessarily be the case. The judiciary deserves accommodation, and it is the executive that will provide the wherewithal. The judiciary does not have land of its own, just as Larry Adeyinka said. Whatever happens, the judiciary will still come to the FCT ministry to ask for land. They cannot appropriate land on their own. They can't allocate land to themselves. So when they talk about autonomy for the judiciary, it's not absolute. There are still some things that it is the executive. If we talk about separation of power, there are still some things that the executive will have to do for you. Like the budget, they take the budget to the National Assembly. The legislature will have to work on your budget, no matter what we are talking about. So building houses, the Supreme Court, for example, was built by the executive, and everyone is using it. It doesn't then compromise the integrity or the neutrality of the judiciary. People must make this clear. So I agree with Larry Adeyinka, the new spokesperson for Wike, that Femi Falana was wrong in accusing Wike of giving gifts or giving houses to the judiciary. It's their right. It's their right. And it doesn't necessarily mean that, oh, because the executive gave you, facilitated building. The judiciary shouldn't even be executing contracts on their own. They can make their desires clear, but it is the executive that should now implement that budget on their behalf. So, as far as Falana is concerned, Wike should not get involved in giving houses to the judiciary, giving houses to the appeal court, federal high court, and the FCT high court. No, I agree. I am of the belief that the judiciary need proper accommodation. Judges, even when they leave office, should be able to retire into owner-occupier homes of their own. If we do not do that, judges will continue to take bribe in the hope that they can secure the future for themselves. This is the thing. Now, it's not, if you are on the way to the market, every dog that barks at you, you stone the dog. You are not likely to get to that market. This is a popular wisecrack in the continent of Africa. Maybe Wike has not read about that. If you, Ibrahim, today, if you attack Wike, he will go and do media chat and attack you. He will even use style to call your name. So now, there's a level that you get to that you cannot be replying every attack, every attacker. Aisha of Labour Party described Wike as a village champion. You cannot call somebody who came second in the PDP national, PDP presidential primaries a village champion. No, he had support across Nigeria at that primary election. In fact, if not because Tambuwal stepped down for Atiku, Atiku will most likely have lost that presidential primary. Because Tambuwal, who stepped down, will most likely have come third in that election. So you can see the quantum of votes that should have gone to Tambuwal that now went to Atiku to enable Atiku win. And this is an Atiku that has been contesting elections since 1992. So if Wike could push him all the way, in the way he did, you cannot say he's a village champion. In the Nigerian politics of today, Wike is no longer a local champion. If you want to abuse somebody, find other things to say. Don't say things that people can easily dismiss. He is now a national figure politically. Within his own party, the PDP, you cannot say he's a local champion. He's one of the big decision makers.
Absolutely. But with that, yeah.
No, but when you as Wike decide to demolish the houses of the poor, it's usually an emotive matter, and that's why you can see very dark man and all of these activists challenging him that he has no right to demolish people's shanties and all that. But I think that the best thing to do is to relocate them. Otherwise, the insecurity that he's trying to address in a proactive manner may eventually be a big problem in FCT. If people don't have houses over their heads, if you rob them of their house, then you have to relocate them, find somewhere else to take them, you know. So we've seen that happen in even in Lagos. They take people away from a place, the rich, turn the place to a highbrow area. Remember the story of Morocco, you know? They will now go and find somewhere else for them to settle. So Wike needs to do that, find an alternative to those places, give those people an alternative shelter, you know, so that activists will not say, you have come to demolish people's homes and all that. So there is a need for him to do some soul searching. You can't be responding to everybody that abuses you. You can't. It makes no sense. Perhaps the president needs to talk to him, you know, on that matter.
Let me quickly take one or two comments. Adiri Henry says Wike should be more political and diplomatic in his affairs as the FCT minister. Transa Group says, can you talk about what he has achieved? Is politics a means to wealth? Adiri Henry also said that Deji should also have respect for elders. Nelson Adufe, I'm disappointed in claims of Deji for all he said. Should relatives of politicians resign from services because their families are holding position? Why should a respected lawyer by claim without presenting evidence? And then he said, I advise Mr. Wike should respect himself and know his place, because it's not all dogs that bark that one should wait to throw stone at. I think Wike also alluded to that fact. But then, against that backdrop, if you look at the minister, you know, he called a press conference after the led victims of house demolition carried out by the minister in protest. But Adeyanju, who mocked the minister, said his only crime was challenging Wike over his untoward action, describing the minister as someone who hates constructive criticism. Can you talk more on that? I guess you also alluded to that.
Yes, I think I agree that he does not take correction on the chin. You know, one person who is fighting you today may become your friend tomorrow. You don't attack people because they disagreed with you. Wike always takes every opportunity to talk down on people that are against him, whether in his party, the PDP, or outside of his party. And unnecessarily, he invites attacks on his own person. You know, at least Adeyanju is trying to build a name for himself as an activist and as a lawyer. Yes, you can say that he's just coming up as a lawyer. It's not a prominent lawyer yet. That will come with victories, in the courts and all that. It is not by name or by alone. You must show that you are indeed a lawyer of repute. When you handle cases right up to Supreme Court and all that, and people will know. As they say, a tiger does not need to show his tigritude.
Mhm.
You know, by their fruits we shall know them. So Adeyanju is coming up. Of course, he will continue to fight for the ordinary people. So we should expect that Adeyanju, very dark man, and a lot of these activists will stand up for the poor, for the underprivileged in our society, the Falanas of this world. They've been doing that for years. And when they are doing it, you don't, even if they abuse in the process, you should not reply them. But he wants to reply everybody that attacks him. That is where he's making the mistake. That is where he's losing respect, because by your stature in the society, it's not everybody that you should respond to. And when you ignore some of them, it will even pain them more than calling them names. But it's a person with difficulty, does what pleases him. He's somebody who is difficult to even advise. That's the sort of person that he is, and he doesn't really respect people. I don't think that outside of the president that we can respect anybody else. I have my doubts.
Interesting. Let me take another comment. This is Yog says, well done, Chief BKO. Illumina says, I love Wike. God's General said, Mr. Wike should learn from President Tinubu. Fighting everybody would only derail his political career. Akonde Paul says, see, Nigeria is a place where no law takes place. We suppose relocate those people and make them happy. I'm Kunle Ogunjide from Ilorin. Well done, Chief VKO. Prince Ekwe Balem says, if he thinks he isn't a village champion, let him join another party and win at least one state. We all know he isn't a village champion. God's General said, President Tinubu doesn't fight anybody. Boala is now his SA. Maybe Mr. Wike will learn one day. Yeah, so, and that's actually the question I wanted to ask you as we wrap up this conversation, because we need you to enjoy your vacation.
The person who called him, hold on a little bit, the person who called him a village champion, has that person ever won an election? Yes, Aisha is not known to have won an election, but she can call somebody a village champion.
Even award, she actually lost an award.
It's not easy to win an election in this country. Wike has won election before. He came second in the PDP primaries. They needed a tambua, to donate his votes to Atiku before they could defeat Wike. So you cannot say he's not a formidable politician. Let's leave sentiment aside. I criticize him. I do not approve of his ways. But the truth is by nature self-evident. So we are saying that the president, yes, I think there are lessons that I can learn from the president. The president doesn't just answer everybody. He knows, he even said that he has no time for social media.
Yeah, they said he abused the hell out of it.
If there's anybody, if abuse can make somebody drop dead, Mr. President would have dropped dead a long time ago. The kind of abuse, somebody said a Milocon. He was talking to delegates, to Ogun State delegates of his party, but they twisted it to say that he said it is his turn to be president. He was campaigning to them that at the primaries they should vote for him. And that he had helped people within his own party. He had helped people to be this, to be that. But they are now twisting it to make it look like he said, oh, it is his turn to be president of Nigeria. He was saying that, look, let me be your candidate in the primaries. The matter of the election had not come at that time.
That's true.
So it has nothing to do with tribalism. Peter Obi was trying to make it look like this was he was being tribalistic by saying that no, he wanted the votes of delegates. It was delegates that he went to campaign to. He didn't say that in a general rally. It was delegates inside the hall.
That's right. That was where the famous Eleyi actually came about.
Yes, yes.
So BK, as we close the show, you mentioned President Bola Tinubu. He is the one that has appointed Nyesom Wike to that lofty position, and people are already advising him to take after the president at least. Even though we see that you are working, you are Mr. Project. You are replicating your achievements in River State in the FCT. How do you think the president should rein him in? Like put much control on Wike, talk to him so that it does not one way or the other stain the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu while he's trying to have his own political adversaries.
I think the president needs to sit him down, have a word with him. It's not all fights that are desirable. Some fights are not desirable at all. And how many enemies does he even want to make? This one is attacking you, that one. Are you the only minister in the cabinet? Look at how many people, look at activists and politicians. If they are doing interview today, the bulk of those interviews are usually against Wike because of the crisis in River State and all that. So he has to talk less and focus more on his mandate, which is to make the FCT much better than he made it. You know how many times he has had to fight the senator representing the FCT, Ireti Kingibe. He even posted that Ireti will not be allowed to get re-elected. You are saying that when somebody is still was in her first year into a 4-year term, you are already saying that she will not be re-elected, that you will do everything. It is the voters who can determine who gets re-elected. So when you talk in this manner, people will say, oh, maybe is planning to use crooked means to stop the woman. And in the process, you also energize such people. You get the people, the masses, to even begin to support such a person fiercely. Because the Nigerian people like to side the underdog. So when you face a politician that you are much bigger than him, and you are issuing threats, you are threatening such a politician, you will find that Nigerians will team up with that politician and they will fight you, and your wish may eventually not come to pass. This is partly what has happened in River State. A lot of the big people there decided to support Fubara because they were watching Wike when Wike was constantly doing media chats attacking him. And this fellow didn't reply him initially. But after a point, he's going to invite a lot of hatred, not just for the president or for the ruling party. If he continues to act in this manner, he has to just let it go. It's not every fight that you need to fight. Some, you just ignore them and treat their criticism as something that you have to take on the chin. But abusing people every time they criticize you because you think that you cannot be criticized is wrong. And sooner than later, he's going to discover that. So I think the president needs to talk to him and get him to change.
What we can talk when make Deji coaching follow him. Now I first show on the video first.
Now let me tell you, I saw one young man, they call him Adeyanju, from Kogi State. He's also part of society. This was a young boy who came to me that he went to be deputy, he went to National Publicity Secretary of PDP. I said no. Yes, I said no. Yes, I said it won't be, and it was not. Yes, I have no regret about it. Then suddenly became a civil society activist. That's what kind of country are we in? Then you see him to go to a place to say, Wike, you are grabbing La Uruga. This is the kind of civil society you are talking about. People have no job. You turn to civil society.
And that video when you watch so, now it provoke Deji come play return match. And waiting Deji knock Wike for this return match when he play, it don't make sense at all. I no support am. So Deji get this kind of bad mouth. Deji, if they tell me say you get this kind of bad mouth, it won't be say I sell with my cocoa eye. I for me believe am.